Welcome back to another pre-match interview with the manager, John Gilbertson. Jumping straight into things, are you feeling confident going into tomorrow's game?
Yeah, fairly confident. Unbeaten so far this season. Had a lengthy break now with the Christmas period. Obviously, a couple of weeks off, and then last week's game was called off with the frozen pitch. So it's been a few weeks, but I've had a couple of good training sessions back, and the lads is looking fresh and looking good in training. So confident. Obviously, you don't want to ever be overconfident in a game going into a game, but yeah, it is as confident as I want to be ahead of the fixture.
Yeah, just touching on what you said just a minute ago. Obviously, there's been a couple of weeks off, probably about a month off over Christmas. How would you say the players are condition-wise having such a long break?
I think it's a couple of sort of years worth of work instilling it into the players, and the first sort of Christmas break we had 3 years ago, they come back and they weren't in the best of shapes, but they know we always have a good sort of blast and a good fitness couple of sessions post Christmas, and I'm pleased the lads come back and they apart from one or two, and I'm not going to mention any names. Most of the lads looked in pretty sort of tip top form, and yeah, I got no concerns whatsoever. They've certainly looked after themselves, and obviously they've had a good Christmas. But then I've seen many posts of people out on runs and posting their fitness routines. So yeah, they've come back in good shape.
So it's the first game in 4 or 5 weeks, just over a month, and it's the first game this year. How would you like to get it started?
By losing. Now, obviously, I mean, we want to pick up where we left off in terms of putting points on the board, but the only disappointing thing sort of towards the end of the last season is we finished on 2 draws, and it's nice to add the unbeaten record, but if we're going to sort of look at promotion and challenge for promotion this year, we need to turn some of these draws into victories. So it's no other thing tomorrow night is to get 3 points. We're away from home. It's going to be a tough game, but 3 points is a must. So yeah, that's the end all and be all for me tomorrow.
So what's your thoughts from the game originally being on the Saturday, now moved to a Friday night match on the Astro, which is nice, so it's nice conditions, even though it might be a little bit frozen. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it was a must really that we looked at moving the game, because there's a good chance games is going to be called off again this weekend with this sort of cold spell that we've got. But for me personally, as a player many years ago, I should love a night match. I think it's just something different. Atmosphere is a bit different, and I know I've seen a few of the boys, and I think they feel exactly the same. We're going to Cosham Street Stadium tomorrow night, so it's a nice little ground with stands and, like I said, a brand new 4G or 3G pitch. The conditions should be perfect, and again, a nice sort of cold, crisp night. I love that myself as a player. So for me as a manager, I'm excited. It's something a little bit different than a Saturday. So it's a game under the lights, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Is there anything you expect from some certain players tomorrow night?
Well, from every player really, in terms of expect the focus ahead of the game. We're playing Mangotsfield tomorrow, so like their league position isn't great, but it's my job to instill into the players, and they should know this themselves. Is just because we're sort of near the top, second, they're near the bottom. It's not just a sort of turn up and you're going to get a win. I think it's going to be a really tough game tomorrow night, and what I'm hoping for the players is to, one, first and foremost, is to be focused and be switched on for the game and come out like in an aggressive manner. But two, I mean, the most important thing, and it doesn't matter who we're playing, is we have to play football, play what we're good at, play to our strengths, and like I preach to the players all the time, is to remain calm. You can work hard, you can run fast, you can do all that, but you can still be calm, keep your brains calm, keep your heads calm, and play football, and that's always a must for me.
So obviously the game being on a Friday night now, that frees up your Saturday.
Yeah.
It just so happens on the Saturday is a reserves game versus Cosmos. Do you want to expand on that? Are you going to watch? Are you gonna
Yeah,
be
I
there?
should be there, and it's one of the frustrating things of like obviously it's our team, and I like to watch them as much as I can, but you can't because we're playing at the same time. So it gives us a good opportunity. They're on 11:30 kickoff on 4G there, South Saturday. So Saturday morning, yeah, I'll definitely be there, and I know all the lads will be there, the first team supporting them on. But from a management point of view, it gives me a chance to cast an eye over some players in the reserves, because there's some, make no bones about it, there's some players in the reserves, they could easily make a step up over the next coming sort of month or so into the first team. So it's allowing me to get to see them at training in sort of a match day scenario at training, but that's nothing like a proper game. So it'd be interesting for me to be able to go cheer them along as a fan, but it's still being a manager, watching and looking at players who could potentially come in the second half of the season in the first team. So there is a few.
And lastly, I'm not going to ask you for a score prediction of the game because that's a hard one, but can you predict any goal scorers? Anyone you feel like might come close, pick up a few assists, or
I always love the striker scoring a goal. So tomorrow night with Tom and Ty, I'm always looking for your strikers to score the goals. For me, it doesn't really matter too much, because as long as we're getting goals from and winning games, it doesn't matter. But strikers, I know what it's like, and if you go X amount of games without scoring, it starts to weigh heavy, and that's why I always like to see a striker get a goal or two. But also as well, from the midfielders, we're scoring a lot of goals to start the season from midfield, from late runs and stuff like that, and we haven't done that so well the last couple of games, so that needs to start picking up. And spoke about it a little bit at training this week in terms of the late runs into the box, and we need to start contributing goals all round really. But yeah, I don't want to single out because I'll be accused of having favourites, but long as somebody's scoring, I don't care.
it's going to be a hard one to ask, but obviously knowing the side for tomorrow, there's a few players playing different positions than they normally would. Without giving too much away, would you like to expand on that?
Well, I'm confident, and is the one thing I've always praised the boys for over the last couple of years, because we got a lot of versatility in the side, and as you can see from previous games, and Sam for one come to me as a centre half and has played the majority of games. His midfield have even done a little stint up top. Dan Little, who's a centre back, can play left back, can play right back. Ben Jeffrey, who's not unfortunately not with us tomorrow. They're in a position Ben can't play and hasn't played for us. He's played centre half, right back, left back, midfield, even had to go up front itself. And we got a lot of versatility. Billy and Josh both could play strikers, both could play midfielders, out wide. So it is a luxury, especially at this level where you're not blessed with loads of things in terms of people coming up, because we're trying to keep the reserve team full as well, in terms of we've got the numbers, but you don't want to just be taking players out, and you want to keep sort of players playing with their teams. So it just offers us a lot more flexibility and a lot more scope in game when I make changes. Sometimes it's a formations change, tactical change, that you ain't actually always got to make the subs. We've got players on the pitch who can play multiple positions, so that's always a bonus for me, and credit to the lads for being adaptable to that.
Also, I'm not sure if you would like to answer this one, but there's a new signing in the club. He's on the bench for tomorrow's game, and he's got quite the goal scoring record.
Yeah, without sort of going into too much, yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate enough. I mean, said we're a well-run club. It's our third year, and anybody who follows us know we try to do things the right way and as professional as we can be. And with the reserves this year, we've taken on a lot of new players, and sort of squad size is around about 46, 47 at the moment, but we're still looking out for quality additions all the way through, and we'll always will be. And we've signed somebody this week who's his sort of past record and quality is probably levels above what we're sort of currently performing at, and that's going to be an interesting one. So without giving too much away, but that's an option for us tomorrow, and hopefully he can get some minutes tomorrow so we can have a little look at him for the first time actually in game. So watch this space, and yeah, I could look like a genius with a substitution hopefully tomorrow night when he comes on and bangs a hat-trick.
Just elaborating on that a little bit, not so much just coming off the bench and maybe scoring a goal from that new striker. Is there anything else that you would like to see from other players from him coming in?
In what way? In terms of responses, I want to say, I mean, the good thing with bringing quality players in, it puts pressure on players who's currently there. They have to perform, otherwise they're going to be out of the team, and that's certainly a benefit this year. And if we're looking at the bench tomorrow night with Mike Gilbertson, Dylan Peters on the bench, and a few others, I can't think at the moment, mine's gone blank, but there's absolute quality on the bench, and they were guaranteed starters last year, and Ryan Davis is another. Like they're really unlucky not to be starting, but that shows you strength in depth. And ultimately, anybody who's starting, they can't rest on their laurels when we already got quality in the club on subs bench, and when we're bringing in quality players like this, it's I'm expecting to see people rise and take on that challenge and not give up their space. So for the two strikers who's up there tomorrow, when you've got somebody of that calibre on the bench who can score goals, it's quite straightforward without adding pressure. They got to score goals and do the business and play well, otherwise they're going to be under pressure.
I think that's everything. Good luck on tomorrow's game.
Thank you.